Overnight, the cost of living in America changed. Not because of a new tax from Congress, but because of a decision made with the stroke of a pen. The shelves at your supermarket look the same, but prices are quietly shifting. Your morning coffee costs more, your kids' breakfast cereal's up a few cents this week, and maybe more next. It's not just inflation, it's tariffs, a sweeping set of import taxes now touching nearly everything we buy from maple syrup to microchips. Tonight, we're piecing together the entire story. What happened, why it happened, and how it's playing out in real time from the White House to your grocery cart. Let's start with a hard-hitting broadcast reaction.
The president's blanket tariffs on U.S. trading partners are now in effect, and that means American businesses will have to pay more to bring in foreign goods. The baseline tariff is 10%. However, imports from America's largest trading partners are taxed higher. For example, Canadian goods, they're facing a 35% tariff, while Japanese imports are at 15%. Some of those numbers were reached through negotiations, and others, including that steep 50% tariff on Indian goods, were decided unilaterally by the White House.
That was the moment when blanket tariffs became headline news. Suddenly, Canada, Japan, India, key suppliers were slapped with sky-high duties. But why? And how would that ripple into your everyday life? EPA tariffs on all countries related to an economic national emergency at a baseline rate of 10%, with scheduled increases for more than 50 trading partners later in 2025. Now let's drill down on everyday essentials.
Maple syrup. It might be the last thing you'd expect to get caught in a trade war, but here we are. In August of 2025, the United States officially imposed a 35% tariff on maple syrup imported from Canada.
Maple syrup, a staple breakfast treat. Bang. Costs up nearly 30%. And it's not just syrup. FMI's August 2025 Grocery Shopper Trends Survey, over 50% of respondents said tariffs were their primary concern for rising food costs. Here's that real-world voice owners feeling the squeeze.
Our importer that we have, which is, by the way, just a family business. This isn't a big corporation or anything. He told me this morning, I talked to him, he said, I got to spend $200,000 to fill up a container of shrimp coming from India. He said now at 50% tariff, it's $300,000. And he said our family's got to put that money up ahead of time.
From syrup to shrimp, small businesses are scrambling, splitting tariffs, eating costs, but it's not sustainable. Soon, someone has to pay, retailers or consumers. Goldman Sachs says U.S. companies absorbed 64% of tariff costs, consumers 22%, and foreign exporters only 14%, with fall projected to hit consumers harder. Yale's Budget Lab estimates these tariffs cost the average U.S. household roughly $2,400 in lost real income in 2025. Let's see how experts are reacting.
Here's how he says our tariff war just with China will be impacting us.
That's probably where we get so many of our spices. We get tea. Let's not also forget that China produces 90% of all the garlic in the world. And garlic is a major ingredient in a lot of frozen foods. Our apple juice, they supply 60% of all the apple juice concentrate that comes into this country. So we're going to have to recalibrate what we're buying and how we're buying it.
The supermarket guru warns items from garlic to apple juice could rise 30%. Tariffs on metals, packaging, even food-adjacent inputs, all playing a role. Procter & Gamble will raise prices on approximately 25% of its products, toilet paper, diapers, razors, to offset $1 billion in tariff costs. Hershey slaps double-digit candy price hikes, Kraft Heinz steeper and more pain ahead. Restaurants are already seeing fallout. Between January to March 2025, Americans ate 1 billion fewer restaurant meals, with chains like IHOP, Chipotle citing elevated prices and consumer anxiety. Here's a global snapshot.
It is planned to change the global economy, with virtually all of America's trading partners affected. The president has now also threatened a 100% tariff on foreign-made computer chips as he pushes tech firms to invest in the US. Let's look at some of the details. Now, India, for example, has a levy of 25%, but President Trump has threatened to double that to 50% from next month over the ongoing furore of India buying Russian oil. Delhi called the move unfair, unjustified, and unreasonable. Some of the other steepest tariffs are on countries like Switzerland, Laos, and Syria. Other trading partners, well, they fare slightly better, with 15% levies on exports from the European Union, Japan and South Korea. And they're among the few trading partners who have managed to strike deals with Washington. And the UK has emerged relatively unscathed, with base tariffs of 10% after Sir Keir Starmer secured a trade agreement with President Trump.
Imports spiked early 2025 as buyers front-loaded, but volumes expected to drop 5.6% in H2, meaning fewer goods later and higher prices ahead. Finally, let's see how consumer behavior is shifting.
What we're just trying to do is navigate. We're eating a little bit of the margin, and we're already on thin margins in the supermarket business. So we're eating some of it. I can't eat it forever, and let's wait and see what happens next month and really the month after.
At the end of the day, it's more than economics, it's anxiety. Consumers cutting favorite items, business owners on razor-thin margins, families adjusting rituals. The story isn't political, it's personal. What can you do as a shopper? Track your weekly bill notice rising staples? Share in comments? Talk to local businesses, how are they navigating? If enough of us have this conversation, our leaders might listen because tariffs shouldn't be something that only economists talk about. It should be about real lives, real choices. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, share it, because policy shouldn't stay hidden, especially when it's affecting your breakfast. Hit subscribe, stay informed.